What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to Horror Hangout, the podcast. We do these occasionally. It's not a super regular thing, but it is something that we like to do that's fun. Last time I had Steven on, I got Jamie back. He's from the UK, so we have to schedule a little different. So there's a reason why he's not on quite as often as other people might be. But we are hanging out today, and we're talking about the new Shudder original movie, DEADSTREAM. Bro. Okay, what's up, Jamie? How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm good. How are you?
Oh, buddy, man. So this movie came out and I watched the trailer and I was pretty interested by the trailer. I thought, okay, this could be a hit or miss thing, but I wasn't in any hurry to watch it. And then I watched it about 2/3 of the way through the other night and I was pretty interested in it. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I'm enjoying this. But I had other things to do. It was getting late, so I had to stop the movie, right? Well, I rewatched it last night with Carissa and I don't know. I don't think I actually watched it 2/3 through. I think I maybe watched it halfway through because by the end of this movie, I was like laughing my ass off. There was like 3 or 4 really great jump scares. And this movie went from like pretty decent all the way to like really, really good, or at least for me. So,
yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, you had the same experience, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I watched it as soon as it came out.
Yeah.
And like I started watching it, and then my wife was like, "What's this?" And then she sat down and watched it, and she really enjoyed it, which is, cool.
That's always a plus.
It was loads of fun.
Dude, this movie was absolutely ridiculous. Like, I can't help but see some shit in there because he's like a YouTuber guy, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so painful to watch part of the first like 20 minutes of it.
Yeah.
But I think it's
I'm waiting to see your version of this film.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm waiting to see your version of this.
Right, bro, dude. I would love to do something like this, man, and I would absolutely do it too. Like I'm a scaredy cat too, so I would like I don't get scared by movies, but in real life, going somewhere like that would be so scary for me. I don't know if I could do it by myself, bro. So okay, for anybody's wondering what the movie's about, first and foremost, spoilers coming. So just heads up, if you don't want spoilers, you might want to just click off for now and come back when you've watched the movie. It's only like 88 minutes, so it's pretty short. Real quick watch, but it's got a lot in 88 minutes, man. I'm telling you, this movie's got a lot going on in an hour and a half. But it's about a guy who's a content creator who's I don't know exactly what happened with this guy, but it looked like he was at one point really famous. I think he might have gotten canceled or something, and then he's trying to make his big comeback, and he does these silly challenges where he does things that are funny but also kind of dangerous, really much like a Jackass meets Nelk Boys type thing. And he decides to lock himself in a house that is presumed haunted by himself overnight with just a bunch of cameras and do a live stream. And he like chucks his spark plugs out into the forest so he can't drive away. He like drops his keys in like a drain. Like the dude's a moron. He's a giant idiot. And but like the whole time he's dropping these like merch drops and like I don't know, dude. It's you have to be able to take a joke to watch this movie if you're a content creator. Because I was laughing my ass off because I was like, man, this is clearly this is what we do, but it's like magnified times 20. And I don't do the stuff he does, but I definitely have merch and things that I push occasionally because I have to make money. And I just think it's funny because people that don't know anything about this life are going to be super confused and also annoyed by that kind of activity, that's the joke, is that they don't really understand it. And so I don't know, man, this shit was, I definitely got a little like, I was like, oh man, is this what we look like when we're doing this to people? Like, I was like, I hope I don't come off like this guy. So if anybody out there feels like I come off like this fella, let me know kindly with some, respectfully, please, in the comments. But I sure hope I don't, man. But it was awesome. So, okay. What was up with this movie, man? Like, this shit was wild, dude.
It was so good. Like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen content creators like this. It's not really what I watch. If I watch anything, but it's like, yeah, he's definitely like, a Logan Paul or a,
That's what it was. He was like a Logan Paul type, but like not a jock.
Everything's a skit. Everything's a...
Yeah, every single thing that he does is like merch, sell, buy, this, that, money. Whereas at least I feel like I'm trying to create some stuff and then like I'd like to make some money doing it because this is kind of my job at this point. I hope I never get like that, man. I guess anything can happen and nobody's perfect, myself included, but like boy, I hope I never get to where like that's my most important thing. Like if I didn't have to have money, I would be so much happier, bro, man. But I mean, that's how I met you though, is like through my content. So I've met a lot of great people. I've met a lot of people through doing this stuff. So I wouldn't take it back for the world, man. Like I've met a lot of cool people, but yeah, everything's oh, this fool. He's got all those energy drink cans behind him, and there's like 40 of them, bro. I'm thinking they're probably empty because the guy's just like, blah, and he, dude, like, I don't know. He goes in I liked his tone of voice, and as the movie goes on, I really became like kind of where I liked him. I felt I felt kind of bad. Like I felt like maybe he got the short end of the stick where at first you're like not sure. You're thinking he might just be this annoying guy. And I think that maybe he's misunderstood. And I believe that that's probably, I think there's a lesson to be learned watching this movie first and foremost. Because if you're not a person that creates content, you don't really understand what it's like to be that kind of person. Because I've run into people on a regular basis, like especially at my store, who don't really understand, and they'll ask me questions, and I can tell by the questions that they ask that they don't understand what this is like. And a lot of folks think that you should be able to say whatever you want to a content creator, and the moment that they say something back, hey, you treat your fans like this, but you're not my fan if you're telling me to f off. Like that's not how this works. So it's pretty cool, man. It's kind of like a peek behind the curtain, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Dude, one thing that I would like to get your opinion on. So whenever he was going through the house and he's setting up all those GoPros, so I've watched this basically 1.5 times. So I'll just say twice up to like the midway point. What do you think he was doing with those cameras? Because I completely got really irritated for no reason. So when I first watched it, you know what I thought he was doing? You know those like things that you can put on your window and go pop and it suctions to it?
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was using those. And I was like, dude, this is so not realistic because you can't use that on wood. And then like the next time I'm watching it, I don't know what I saw different, but I realized he was using the little base things with the adhesive.
Yeah.
I know it's really stupid, but it made me feel so much better about the movie because I hate when movies take something that's really clearly not going to work ever on a movie that's supposed to be based somewhat in reality and then put it everywhere. It would drive me nuts. But yeah, it's just a silly little gripe, but I noticed it and I was like, you know, I don't know. People always ask me why I pay attention to the things that I pay attention to in my videos or in movies. I don't know why, man, but I definitely notice like weird shit. Like in a song, like take that silly group Pentatonics by example. I was more irritated by their clothing than I was their music. And people got really upset about that. But I'm like, I'm watching a video. Am I not supposed to notice how they're dressed? It's like you watch a black metal video. How many times are you going to comment on their clothing? Every time. So fuck out of here, man. Anyways. Is there any like little things about the movie that you noticed that you liked a lot, or what was your?
I don't know. I like the whole sort of tone. I don't know. There was so much. There was nothing like I didn't like about it.
That's kind of
Some of the special effects and stuff were a little latexy, and
I loved it because I think they're on a very small budget, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think so as well. So I think what they did was amazing, but it was just like, yeah, I don't think there was anything.
You had to like find something to kind of not be happy with. Yeah, I definitely had to like hunt for things to be dissatisfied with. It was all around really funny. I thought it was so much better than I expected, man. Like the addition of that girl was pretty hilarious. And then the fact that she became Mildred was Mildred. I don't know. I can't tell, dude. There's a lot of questions, dude. This movie needs to be watched multiple times, which I think is the genius part of it, is that you kind of have to watch this movie a few times to really get everything going on in it. And that is, if you're making a movie, especially on a low budget, right? And you're thinking like, okay, we really need repeat viewership. How do we get that? You just make a movie that doesn't answer all the questions on the first go around. You hide things in there. You put little shit in the background. And because there was a few things that Carissa paused and goes, did you see that? And rewound it. And I was like, what? And then she pointed at it and I go, oh shit. And then I would go, oh, did you hear what he said? And she'd go, no. And I'd go, pop. Or you'd watch all the comments going up on there. And if you weren't careful, you'd miss some really funny ones. Like this one takes a few views before you really,
I really liked the comments because like I was trying to read them as they were coming up. And some of them were just like spot on what you'd expect someone to be typing.
Oh, it's very accurate to how the life of a streamer is. I can't remember what my friends thought about this movie. I think Josh didn't really like it. I think Hugh was kind of mid on it, and I think Chris kind of liked it okay. I might be wrong about that, but I can't imagine why any of them wouldn't have liked this. It was such a good movie. It was basically like if you took The Exorcist and Evil Dead and mixed them together. That's what this is. That's what this movie is. Plus, if you did it with like the new technology involved, you know.
Yeah, it was definitely very Evil Dead, I thought.
Yes. Well, dude, it had so much of The Exorcist in it, like so much, down to like the little books and reading from them, the way he was even standing, and then like the puking stuff was almost spot on, color for color. Like I think that was on purpose. The way the girl looked was very. What was that girl's name in that movie? Whatever her name was, but it was very much like the girl from Evil Dead. I mean, The Exorcist. Excuse me. But yeah, it felt like a very intentional amalgamation of the two stories, and I thought that because I hate The Exorcist, the movie's boring. So but I like exorcism stuff. Like I like possession movies and stories. I just can't figure out the popularity behind that one, and I think honestly, I think it makes me hate it more. I think if I could figure out why, I probably wouldn't care at all. But I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense, so it makes me hate it more. It's like when Aquaman came out. I hated that movie with a passion, but when I left the theater, I was kind of like, man, it was not very good. And then people were like, oh, it was amazing. I was like, okay, hold on, man. And the more I heard that, the more I hated it. Super mature, really mature. But I feel like I'm fairly self-aware. Yeah, man, the movie was freaking badass. So, okay, it was a short movie. Was there anything about the movie that stuck out to you? Was there any parts about it that you really, really enjoyed?
So, like I said, I really enjoyed like all the little comments and stuff that were going through. Yeah, just like I'm not really one for like found footage, and this kind of feels a bit found footagey. But
this is like the natural progression to found footage for sure.
Yeah. So I actually really liked that about it. And
I like the little ways he used the cameras, like the beef cam, and he had a tape to a beef.
He kept on renaming them and stuff to like Mill Dead.
Yeah, dude, the Mill Dead cam was awesome. Yeah, so let's go over the movie a little bit. We'll just kind of talk about it because it wasn't a long flick, and it's not super deep, so there's not like a lot of, I don't know, deep discussion, for lack of a better word, that we'd have to do about this. So it starts off with the guy. He's in his house, I guess, or his studio, wherever he's filming at. And he's like, I'm back. And he's like talking about how he was gone. He basically got his channel shut down and got demonetized. And I like that he kept like begging the sponsors to not drop him. He's like, come on, guys. Like, don't. He's like, I'm in a specific situation here. This is really scary. He's very unlikable at first. And I believe that was by design. He's cringy. He's like super cringy. Yeah. He's actually what cringy actually means is what this guy is. He's like super cringy, right? And he decides to go to this haunted house and spend the night and live stream it. And when he gets there, he starts going from cringy to kind of dumb. He's not doing quite as much cringy stuff now, a little bit, but he's doing things you're like, wait a minute, that's a really bad choice. As in like throwing a spark plug so he can't leave. But he's self-aware. He's like, yeah, I know I wouldn't be able to do this if I don't do something like this. So I'm chunking and you're like, yo, why don't you just have a friend show up and not let you go anywhere? Like, they just don't let you go. Like, give them your car keys so you don't throw them into the woods. Like, what are you doing, guy? And also, then you have somebody there in case something actually happens, like what happens in the movie. But so he shows up, does a couple of dumb things. But then as the story starts to unfold, you start to really get to know the guy. You start to feel a little empathy for him because you're like, wait a minute, what did he get in trouble for? They never really tell you what's going on. Or like sort of, but way towards the end.
Yeah, I think he paid some sort of homeless man to fight him. And I think it went wrong.
Bro. Dude, have you ever seen bum fights? Bro. How could you have seen bum fights, watched this, and not cracked up when this fool started talking about it, man? So the genuine surprise on this guy's face when he's like, I didn't know I was going to hurt him. He's like, I can't hurt anybody. He's like, I'm a pussy. Dude, it's so funny, bro. This movie is great, man. I don't know how any like fan of like dialogue, budget films, horror film. Dude, there's many genres that I think this fits right in, and I don't know how anybody could like any of that stuff and not appreciate this at the very least. Yeah, I guess you don't have to like it, but I don't see how anybody could watch this and go, yeah, it sucked, because it just doesn't. It objectively is well made, and like he's walking into the house and he's like cursing and he's like, oh shit, oh no, shoot. No, come on, guys, don't demonetize me, man. We should have a 3-strike system starting after the next one. Like, it's just like little bitty dialogue drops like that I thought were so perfectly inserted into this movie.
Yeah, it was really well written, the script.
It really was.
Is it just one guy on his own? You know, it's just him playing off against himself, really.
Very small cast. Like really, you're dealing with him, and then about 30% of it's with her. Most of the movie is just this dude. Like, I think he's the guy that wrote and directed it.
Yeah, I think he is.
So I'm going to try to reach out to this guy. I have no idea if he'll respond, but I'm going to try, because I thought he was great, man. And I would love to talk to this guy and just ask him how difficult it was, what he liked about it, what he didn't like about it. That's the kind of stuff I'd like to know. I like the little things. Do what?
I was going to say, I mean, you saw VHS 99, didn't you?
Correct. Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
So I think they did the last story in that anthology.
Oh, really?
Where they go to hell. Yeah, I think he's the cameraman, and she's, Mildred is the demon lady. And it was like the special effects in that were pretty similar to this as well.
Yeah, I need to go back and rewatch that.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite one from VHS.
Well. I liked the whole thing, but the end of it was definitely better than the beginning.
Yeah, definitely.
My favorite part was the old lady with the glasses on. That was my favorite part. But she's just like, man, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. The little detail. Wow, that's awesome. I need to go rewatch that again just so I can like have this information. Oh, I love stuff like this. This is the best part about any kind of entertainment for me, is with whether it be comic books or movies or TV shows, is like finding little bits of info like this and then going back, deep diving back into it and being like, oh yeah, because of blah, 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 blah. I think that's awesome. So the little things, pardon me, I know I look like I'm not paying attention. I promise I am. The little things that were in this movie that I really liked was stuff like the wheel of dumb shit. Like, he has this wheel, and I think it's 6 colors. Like, it's a wheel. It's got 6 triangles in it, and it's dumb things he has to do, and it's got a little thing, and he spins it. And it's like stuff like that are little things that he could have easily not put that in the movie, and it wouldn't have been any worse for it. But putting it in there made it a little bit better, because he ends up doing stuff like, and then he ends up like wanting to cop out. I like the fact that throughout the whole movie, he says like, the whole point was is if he, during this adventure overnight, if he hears something weird, something odd happens, he has to investigate it. And so you're like, oh, dude, because this guy's definitely a big vagine. And he's he's got to go do stuff like go down. Like, bro, when they hit that like little thing on the wall in the closet and it had like a stairwell, I was like, not a single chance I'm going anywhere. I would have been like, nope, put that right back there. Edit that out. I didn't see that, guys. I would just straight up lie to you guys. Just so y'all know, I would lie to you in that situation. You would get lied to by me. Okay? So
yeah, there's no way I'm going down.
Bro, not a chance.
Nope.
And then he breaks out a Ouija board at one point. I was like, no, dude, what are you doing? Like, I won't even let people bring those to my store. I have a horror movie. No, I don't do Ouija boards, bro. Like, I'm not Catholic, but I am Irish, and by blood, anyways. Obviously, I'm an American man, but anyhow. So he gets to the house, and he starts doing things. He's basically narrating this entire live stream. He's going around, he's putting up cameras, and he's labeling them so you kind of know what's where. He's telling you about each room that's in the house, because he has this like little like I don't know, like a notepad like I carry around for my channel, but it's got like these little crudely drawn maps on there, and I think it's awesome. And he's got like Dead Manor written in like the old school horror font, but it's drawn. Dude, this movie's brilliant. And so he goes in each room and he tells you a little bit about them. And if you're really careful, you can notice subtle changes in each room every time he goes in them. There's a few little changes that I noticed, like something would be moved, and I don't know if it was on purpose. It could have been just different takes. But in a movie like this, there's no telling, man. It's another question that I'd have for him if I got to talk to him. But there's like little subtle changes. But I liked the stuff like there's a lot of points in this movie where you come to a crossroads and you have to decide whether or not you think he's telling the truth or is it some nonsense, right? And almost every time it's real and you're like, oh my God, this poor guy. Like, I like when he's walking up the hall and that little ghost thing follows him and they're all like, and he's like, I think he was taking a piss. And everyone's like, dude, look behind you. And he's just like ignoring the comments. He's like whistling. And then he looks, he's like, yeah, right, guys. And he goes and looks and he goes, that doesn't even look real. And then he goes back out there and checks on it and it is real. I don't know. Stuff like that was really great, man. But he seemingly was he was really good at pretending to be very scared.
Yeah. I like the way he always ended up back in the cupboard under the blanket.
Dude, he was constantly. At one point, they made a conscious decision to make him run back up the stairs. That was absolutely written down. He had to go back up the stairs because it's a trope. You know, you have to. Yeah, man, this shit was funny, dude. The cover where he's constantly hiding, or when he sees that little hand thing, that was a really great like bit of writing because so in this. Okay, so how do we go? At one point, he's really scared, and he's hearing some like knocking on the walls and like weird kind of like supernatural crap. And he goes back in the room. I like that he runs up to the door, opens it, runs in, closes it, and then pushes that thing in front of it. And you're like, yo, what are you doing? It opens up this way.
Yeah.
But he gets real scared because there's noises happening. And then this girl shows up. And at first you're like, oh, this was staged. And then you find out it wasn't staged. And she's like, just this kind of like weird super fan. Super good looking though. So you're like, oh man, you might want to hang around with her. She's real pretty. And you're like, okay, you got a pretty girl there. And everybody in the comments are like, dude, she's hot, blah, blah, blah. And no, hang out with her, dude. And he's like, and then he gets courageous and is like, no, I should just do it by myself. Because he's, super insecure. And then that's when the weird shit really starts to happen because she's kind of a kooky chick. She's kind of weird, man. She's a little off her rocker. So what'd you think about that character? When you first saw her, did you have any idea that she was going to be Mildred?
I don't think so. Not when she first showed up. I just thought she was like a super fan, and
I didn't think she was going to be in the movie very long.
Yeah. But then I think when she did the first disappearing thing downstairs, I was like, she's not right.
Yeah, I was worried. I had no inkling idea that she was going to be Mildred because I'm not smart enough, I guess, to put that together. But when she did the disappearing thing downstairs, I absolutely was like, uh-oh. I was like, this girl's off her rocker, bro. She's going to be trouble. But I thought she had some previous knowledge of the place and was there for a particular reason and just didn't want to tell him. I thought she was going to do something and bring some people back or some crazy shit, which I guess technically is what happened, but not the way that I thought it was going to happen. I thought she was there for like a nefarious reason, like to do some weird shit and maybe get him in some trouble or something. Or maybe she was like in love with him or some weird shit because she was, like you said, a super fan. But she really did that part well because she played off the, what do you call it? Like boundary pushing fan. Because I've had a couple of people that did some weird stuff. And I'm a very small channel comparatively. Like, 24,000 people is nothing to like 500,000 or 1 million. Like nothing. It's like a drop in the bucket to those folks. But even I've had people that have said some really crazy shit to me, said some really weird things, like asked if they could do weird stuff. I've been asked, hey man, can you call me so I could talk to you for a minute? And I'm like, what? Like in the comments they'll hit me up on my DMs. I'm like, I'm not calling you, dude. Like I give a certain amount of myself up for talking and stuff. Like I would call you on the phone, no problem. But I've talked to you face to face like 6 times now and over the internet hundreds. So I feel like I know you pretty well. But dude, for the first time we're speaking and you're like, hey, can you call me? I don't want you having my phone number, dude. Like there's a reason I use a PO box, man. And it's not because I'm trying to be mean. I have a family to think about, man. Like, and that's what I thought. That's what I thought that was a fan that was going to go past some very important, borders.
Boundaries.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. But yeah, it turned out that wasn't the case at all. She was definitely. And then this dude's so dumb that she gets him to like say a bunch of shit in Latin. I'm like, dude, why would you repeat some stuff in like this weird seance? with this girl you don't know in a language you don't speak. That is the dude. You literally couldn't pay me enough money to do that. There is not enough money for that. Hey man, I'll give you $20 million if you no, because what good is $20 million when I'm dead? Because clearly I'm gonna be dead. Because you don't have $20 million, and I know that. So what are we doing here? But yeah, she gets him to like basically trap himself inside the house to be connected to all these dead people. Just so many dumb things happen to this guy. He makes so many boneheaded decisions, and you genuinely feel bad because as the movie goes along, you realize that he's a fairly nice guy. He's kind of a doofus, but he's like, he means well. I don't think he actually did anything that was actually wrong. Certainly it wasn't his intent. I think that he got shafted, and I think this is kind of a mirror being held up to us and going, hey, look, this is how we behave now, is we cancel people and ruin their lives without really knowing anything about what actually happened. Because you can hear something. I got called racist on a video, and I don't have to prove that I'm not racist, because if you know me, you know I'm not. But like, man, that scared me. I was like, racist? What? I'm anything but. Like, no, dude. Like, no. Racist? No. Not me. So I got kind of nervous, and this is the kind of movie that, honestly, while it's entertaining, it's also a very good look into the mirror. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was. Yeah, I don't.
You're like, I mean, yeah, yes or no? Yes.
Yeah, I think like it definitely had that sort of thing about it.
And it was just like a kind of like a behind the. It was not the most important thing, but it was there. It was like, hey, don't forget to pay attention to this stuff. It was like a, ha ha ha, funny movie, but also be nicer to people, like, that kind of thing. I don't know. This is actually a fairly complex movie, I would say. For something that's so simple, it's really not, because the story was pretty complex. There was a lot that went into. I can't imagine writing this. This was a lot. Like they had to. I would like to know how long this took and who all wrote it together. Like I think I could go back and look at the credits and figure that out. But like, this was a pretty complex.
Would be interesting.
Yeah, complex story for just a small group of people. You got, a director, an associate director, a bunch of cameramen, and a bunch of people helping you. That's one thing. But when you're a small crew making a movie like this, I mean, you could have easily written some things that, in hindsight, you're like, oh shit, I don't like that. I don't want this in this movie, and now you're stuck with it. So, yeah, I don't know. Interesting movie, man. I really quite enjoyed it.
What was with the finger up the nose thing,
dude? What the fuck? That made me so uncomfortable. At like 3 different points in the movie, she just sticks her finger in his nose, and I mean way up in there. And oh, dude, at one point he's like bleeding all over the place because she put her finger way up his nose, and he pulls out like a fingernail. Oh, gross.
There was some good gross out bits in this. The bathtub was my favorite, I think.
Oh, the bathtub was nasty. He was like sitting in it and shit. I was like, bro. Yeah, there was some nasty shit in this movie. Dude, I still think maybe the beef stick camera was my favorite part. Dude, that shit was so funny. That fool had a giant beef, was it a Slim Jim beef jerky thing or whatever you call it? And he like tapes a GoPro to it so he can stick it out the window and look on his tablet because he doesn't want to look out the window. I don't know, just little tiny things like that. I think if those things were missing, this movie would be very, very boring or quite a bit less impressive.
Yeah, I like the potato gun.
Well. Oh, dude, hell yeah. And then he shoots a hole through the guy, and the guy's just like leaning on it, and you're like, oh, he's still going to fall on you, buddy. Like, oh, man. There's a lot of unexplained stuff in this movie, though. While I enjoyed it, it is not perfect, and I think some of it was meant for additional views, like to encourage additional views. But I do think that some of it was just inexperienced, maybe, because they're a young group and they clearly haven't made 12 movies. It's not to my knowledge. I don't know, maybe they have, but I don't know. I think that the movie is for what, how do I say this, for what they had to use. I think it was exceptional, man. I really, really liked it a lot. I would like to own a copy of this if I can, because if I can throw them a $10 bill, because I'm watching it on Shudder, so I didn't have to put anything into it to watch it. I just watched it. $6 a month. That's not a high dollar amount because I watch a lot of stuff on Shudder. So I would love to throw them a $10 or $20 to own a copy of this, because I really liked it. You know what it reminded me of is that we're getting a lot of movies that the found footage thing is what you were saying earlier. This is the natural progression of that, is where you get like POV live stream stuff. That movie where they had the during COVID, where they had the 6 people. It was a really big one. It was a Netflix one, I think. No. It was Shudder. It was on Shudder. It was on Shudder as well. And it had the one where it was actually pretty scary. It was only like 60 minutes long. Like those kind of movies, those are the natural progression of found footage. I think we'll be having a lot less found footage stuff and more POV, Zoom style stuff. The whole what's the other kind? There's a couple of kinds. There's the POV. There's the Zoom kind, and then you have stuff like that one Dash Cam movie, or the one called Cam with the kid from Stranger Things. All of these, because like when you have no way of making big budget movies, you have to come up with these cool ideas and how to work on a budget. And if your writing is good enough, I believe you don't need much else. You need good writing and good acting, and I think you can accomplish a lot. And if you can write in a smart way, you can avoid a lot of necessary, or not necessary. You can avoid a lot of need for special effects. And if you can avoid that, then you're probably going to be able to make the movie a little more realistic, thus more enjoyable. I think we're in like a golden age of evolution of filmmaking, man. I think that we're in a spot right now to where we're coming up with a bunch of new ways to do things. And what's the word for that?
It's a bit like music, where you can start to, technology's there that you can probably do most of the stuff on your own.
There's a ton of artists that have whole bands that you would never know that aren't whole bands. It's just them. It's really hard to accomplish, in my opinion. I'm not good with tech stuff, so all this stuff is very impressive to me. Yeah, this movie was great, dude. The bathtub thing, man. The moment he touched the water, I was like, dude, don't touch that. It looks like diarrhea water, bro. What are we doing?
Definitely don't eat anything you pull out of it.
Bro, what is going on with this movie? There's so many disgusting. He just like pops an eyeball in his mouth, and you're like, what are we doing? And then he realizes it and spits it out. There's a lot of really funny things in this movie. Like the smell downstairs. When they're downstairs, they're trying to figure out what that smell is. You think certainly it's like a zombie or something. Turns out it's just like a dead pet. It's just like zombified cat or some shit. Oh man. Yeah, dude. This movie was absolutely fantastic. I'm so glad that I watched it all the way through, and I'm glad I watched it with Carissa. But Carissa had to watch something after this because she got scared. It scared the shit out of her. She had to watch a stand-up comedy thing after that. I thought that was interesting because not at any point in this movie was I scared. I did get jump scared twice. One of them was whenever the guy came up in the camera out of nowhere, and he was like a hunchback fella, and he was really close to the camera. That one, I literally went, oh shit, like out loud. And I don't usually get caught with jump scares because I'm pretty good at telling when they're coming. But that one, it was like dead silent, and he was just there. It just really got me. It wasn't a noise thing. It was a visual thing. But yeah, I wasn't scared at any point in the movie because I guess I'm just kind of desensitized to being scared by a movie for longer than a second that it takes to jump scare me, maybe. But how was your wife when she watched it? Did she like it at all?
Yeah, she really enjoyed it. Yeah, she liked it a lot.
Does she
a couple of jump scares got her.
Do what?
A couple of the jump scares.
Yeah. Is she into horror movies like you are, or no?
Not as much, but if they're good, she likes,
Sure. Yeah, I find a lot less ladies are into horror movies. I know plenty of women that are, but like just as a general rule, there's probably like 3 or 4 men to every one woman that I know that's into horror. So it's a little easier to understand when a lady doesn't like this stuff. It's kind of like, yeah, I kind of get it. Like my wife has just never been exposed to any of it, so she didn't have she didn't have the experiences with any of it. So how would she know she's not desensitized to any of it. So I was really surprised when she watched The Exorcist and was very bored by it. I was real shocked because she has never seen much horror stuff. So I thought I really wanted to watch that. That's the whole reason I watched it, was to watch it with her. And so I was laughing my ass off when she told me it was terrible. She's like, "That's it," and I was like, "Ah! Yeah, that's how I feel about it." But yeah, I really hope they'd make some more stuff. These people are great, man.
Yeah, same. I'm definitely, definitely check out if they do.
What other stuff have you watched lately? You
Uh,
watch a lot of shit, dude. I don't know how you make the time to do it. I do this for a job, and you watch more stuff than I do.
I don't know about that, but I watched another really good one on Shudder called Speak No Evil, which is kind of like
Okay. Wait, is that? Hold on. Let me look that cover of that one up. Speak No
kind of
Evil.
like an elevated horror. It's in Danish, I think, but it was really
Well,
good.
if
And
it's elevated horror, I probably won't care about it.
yeah, I was going to suggest it to you, but I don't know. It's like a little bit slow, but the ending is definitely worth it.
It's only 97 minutes. I might give that a watch. I was kidding, folks. Calm down about the elevated horror thing. It's like a 50-50 thing with me, man. Like, I'll watch it almost anything. So it's, first watch is almost guaranteed. But like, yeah, with elevated horror stuff, it's like 50-50. Like with The Witch, it took me like 4 watches to get to where I kind of enjoyed it. Hereditary was the same. I still don't think either of them are as good as everybody else thinks they are, but I do recognize that they're good films, well made. I don't understand the like gushing over those movies. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
But like Hereditary, it just feels like I've seen that movie a million times. I'm like, dude, what was original about that? I don't know. I don't get it, man. Maybe I'm dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. I quite liked it, just because there are a few bits in it you go, shit.
Well, the little girl's head getting lopped off
Yeah.
is definitely a oh shit part. But like, I felt like that was
I thought
shock
Midsummer was
value
a
stuff
lot
though,
better.
and do what now?
I thought Midsummer was a lot better.
So did I, bro. Yeah, me too. I just thought that Hereditary, everybody in that movie, and I know you're supposed to not like them, but if there's not a person that I can like in a movie, I generally don't like the movie. That's just the way that my body and my mind works. But yeah, I thought Midsummer was better as well. Although there's a bunch of unlikable ass people in that one too.
Mm.
Dude, when the people jump off that cliff onto that rock, oh my
Just comes
god,
over with the hammer.
dude! Yeah, the one person's like, "I'm not dead yet." Oh, you are. You just don't know it. But yeah, Midsummer was wild. The acid when they or whatever it was they took, and then they're like, see the grass grow through their hands. I was like, oh, I've definitely seen that before. I've definitely experienced that. But yeah, man, DEADSTREAM. I beg you folks to go watch this movie, man. It is fantastic. What other stuff? Is there anything you else? Blah, 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 blah. Good grief! Is there anything else that you'd recommend to me? Because I get so busy with stuff because I'm not only doing horror hangout, but Shop 31 is a pretty large portion of my time. So I don't get time to like research this stuff very often.
Yeah. I watched another good one called Sea Fever on
It's called
Shudder.
What Fever?
Sea Fever.
Like SEA?
Yeah. It's like an Irish independent. I think it was Irish.
See, Shudder's got a lot of great stuff outside the US. Like that's just good that you can't get otherwise. Ooh, underwater stuff?
So ish.
Ish.
It's kind of body horror.
Oh, see now that interests me more than the other one does. But I wouldn't mind watching both of them. I ain't tripping.
That was pretty good. Yeah. I've got my copy of Terrifier 2 to watch as well, which I'm...
Bro, I cannot wait for you to watch that movie. I hope you enjoy it. Although it's been built up so much, I feel like you're going to be disappointed by it. That movie's been doing really well in the theaters, man. Like, it's shocking to me that it's still in theaters. I'm so happy for those guys.
Not over here, it's not, but...
No, but over here it was only supposed to be in the theaters for a week. And it's 4 weeks consecutive now. And it's done $5.8 million thus far in ticket sales, which is ridiculous because its budget was, I think, $500,000. I mean,
pretty good.
Yeah, this is like unprecedented for a movie like this. So I think they were just hoping people liked it. This is probably making them real happy. So I'm very pleased for all those guys. and ladies involved in that movie.
Roll
What
on
do you got going on
terrified.
this weekend for Halloween? Did y'all celebrate the Halloween the same way we do over here?
Not the same way, but the kids will go trick or treating, that sort of thing.
Well, what's different about it?
It's just not as
not as popular, not as big a deal.
Big.
Yeah, dude, Halloween's fucking huge over here. It's like easily my favorite time of year by a fucking landslide, dude. Like just the feeling that I get. Like you see cool spooky shit everywhere. You see kids doing cool costumes, little kids being pirates and princesses and just whatever their imagination can do, they get to create that and be that for the night. And I'm a artistic dude, so I like that kind of stuff. And I got 3 kiddos, so seeing them do whatever they want is badass. Like a couple years ago, they wanted to be I don't know what character it was from Minecraft, but it was a Minecraft character, and my wife made these like big giant blockhead things, and then they bought the little costumes, and so they had like not only did they have the costume, but they had the big heads that were custom made and like swords and stuff that went with it. And it was awesome, man. Stuff like that. My son was a creeper once, and she made him a custom creeper costume, and she's really sweet and does stuff like that for him. And yeah, it's just like a creative time of year, man. And then it goes right into like Thanksgiving and which I guess y'all don't really mess with, but like Christmas and stuff where I get to spend time with my mom and my sister, who I don't see except this time of year very much. So there's a lot of reasons why the fall is important to me, but we don't really get a winter in Texas, so I don't have to worry about it being like snowy and shit too often. I couldn't handle that. But hell yeah, dude. DEADSTREAM, man. Awesome movie. I'm glad we got to watch it. I'm glad we got to see you and hang out with you for a few minutes. For anybody that's wondering, he's a much more quieter person than I am. And I know that, so I just talk a lot. A little wee bit, huh? But hell yeah, man. It was super good to see you again, man. I hope one day we can actually hang out in person. That would be freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
If I ever get the chance to go over there for any reason, I'll definitely let you know. My mother-in-law is moving to Australia in a few weeks, bro. Like, what is dude? Like, anyways, I'm living in Texas, dude. Like, she's moving 24 hours flying away from here. Like, that's so crazy to me. Like, I can't even imagine that. But yeah, I've never flown anywhere. So if I do, I think I'm going to try to go meet TJ in Florida, which is like a 2 or 3 hour flight from here, and like test the flying waters out a little bit and see if I can handle it. Because there's a couple of people in the UK I'd like to go meet and hang out with, but primarily you. I'd just like to go visit over there. I've never been anywhere before. Go see where, my history comes from, because whether we like it or not, that's our history. So I'd like to go see it, just see some stuff and learn some things, and maybe go to Ireland or something, because that's where my family's from. So
that'd be cool. Yeah.
And I mean, our history has like, Americans, we come from the UK, man. That's where I don't understand people that don't want to go there and check that stuff out. Like, I want to go at least see some stuff. I don't know. I'm interested in it. I've never gone anywhere, and I'd like to see Europe a little bit. I'd like to see the Grand Canyon. I'd like to visit Ireland. And then if I had like a lot of money one day, I'd like to go to like Japan. I feel like that's like an extra thing that I have no reason to go there other than I just want to.
My bucket list place to visit.
Yeah, Japan.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I just want to go see all the crazy. My friend just went to Thailand, and he's like wants to move there now.
Already?
Yeah, he's like, yo, dude. He's like, you don't understand. He's like, that place is like nonstop fun, judgment free. You just do whatever the fuck you want. He's like, and I'm a pretty normal dude, so I saw a lot of crazy stuff, but I just kind of did whatever I wanted. I was having a great time the whole time. And I was like, man. And then I kind of looked at him. I was like, yeah, you had a great time. He's like, no. But I saw a lot of that, and I was like, what? But yeah, I just want to go visit weird places, man. Like, not weird, different places. No, nothing's weird. To them, I'm weird. So, just go see places. I'd love to come and visit you. And I got a handful of folks that are England, right? It's where you're at.
Yeah.
That are in England. There's about 3 or 4 people that I talk to. You're the one I talk to the most. I talk to you almost daily. But I had that one girl that I was talking to that bought my painting, and she just like disappeared. I need to check on her, see if she's okay, reach out and see how she's doing. But she lived in England too. She bought my painting over there. Man, that was a hefty charge to get that thing over there. Bro,
yeah,
shit was wild. Torrent. I almost forgot her name. Anyways, well, dude, it was lovely talking to you, man. Glad to see you, man. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we go?
I'm good.
Nope. All right, cool. Thanks for hanging out, Jamie. I appreciate it. Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us for a little while. Go check out DEADSTREAM on Shudder. Let us know if there's any kind of movies you want us to watch, anything you want me reviewed, all that stuff in the comments. please subscribe to the channel if you want to support us further. There are ways to do that as well. So let me know. Either way, have a great day. It's lovely talking to you guys. See you later. Peace.
See you later.